How many times do I have to tell you to be careful, Liam? That plate cost more than what you make in a week. I'm sorry, Liam replied, his voice steady despite the sting of the accusation. It slipped. I didn't mean to. I don't care what you meant, the manager interrupted, pointing toward the door. You're done for the day, and don't think you're getting paid for this shift. Liam opened his mouth to argue, but stopped himself. He knew it was pointless. With a resigned sigh, he untied his apron, grabbed his worn backpack, and stepped out into the chilly city evening. The diner was bustling, the clatter of dishes and hum of conversation filling the air. Liam stood near the sink, wiping his hands on his apron, his face flushed with frustration. The manager's voice boomed across the kitchen, sharp and unforgiving. The streets of the city were alive with movement, cars honking, street vendors shouting, and people hurrying to wherever they needed to be. Liam pulled his thin jacket tighter around him, the cold biting at his skin. His stomach growled, but he ignored it. Just a bad day, he muttered to himself. Tomorrow will be better. He walked briskly down the crowded sidewalk, his mind wandering to the stack of bills waiting for him at home. His mother worked long hours at a laundromat, and it was up to him to pitch in wherever he could. He dreamed of a better future, one where he wouldn't have to scrape by every day. But for now, he had to make do. As he turned the corner, something caught his eye. An old man was lying on the pavement near a busy intersection, his body motionless. A small crowd had gathered, but no one seemed to know what to do. Without hesitation, Liam rushed forward, pushing through the onlookers. Sir, can you hear me?" Liam knelt beside the man, his voice firm but gentle. The man's eyes fluttered open briefly, his face pale and drawn. "Help!" the man whispered, before his head lolled to the side. Liam's heart pounded. He looked up at the crowd. "Someone call an ambulance." When no one moved, he pulled out his own phone, dialing emergency services. "There's an older man, unconscious, on 5th and Main. Please send help quickly." He hung up and turned his attention back to the man. His suit, though wrinkled and stained from the fall, was clearly expensive, and a gold watch glinted on his wrist. But none of that mattered to Liam. All he could think about was keeping the man awake. "Stay with me, sir," he said, gently patting the man's shoulder. "Help is on the way." The man's eyes opened again, glassy and unfocused. "Thank you," he murmured, his voice weak. "Don't mention it," Liam replied, trying to sound reassuring. "You're going to be fine." Minutes felt like hours, but finally the wail of sirens cut through the air. The ambulance pulled up, and paramedics rushed to the scene. "Are you with him?" one of them asked Liam, as they began assessing the man. "No, I just found him here," Liam explained. "Well, you probably saved his life," the paramedic said, before turning back to the old man. "Let's get him stabilized." As they lifted the man onto the stretcher, his hand reached out weakly toward Liam. Surprised, Liam stepped closer. "Thank you for saving me," the man said again, his voice barely above a whisper. Liam offered a small smile. "It's nothing. Just get better, okay?" The man gave a faint nod before closing his eyes. As the ambulance doors closed and the vehicles sped away, Liam stood there for a moment, his breath visible in the cold air. He felt a strange sense of satisfaction, despite his own exhaustion. He had done something good, something that mattered. Turning to leave, he noticed a card lying on the ground where the old man had been. Picking it up, he saw a name engraved in gold lettering. Arthur Green, Chairman, Green Tech Industries. Liam's brow furrowed. He had heard of Green Tech. Everyone had. It was one of the largest corporations in the country, and its chairman was said to be one of the wealthiest men alive. He stared at the card for a long moment before tucking it into his pocket. It didn't matter who the man was. What mattered was that he was safe. As Liam walked home, his mind buzzed with questions, but for now all he wanted was to rest and hope that tomorrow might bring something better. The days after the incident felt like a blur for Liam. He returned to his routine of long shifts at the diner and late nights helping his mother with household tasks. The memory of the old man lingered in his mind, but he assumed their paths would never cross again. One evening, as Liam sat at the kitchen table, flipping through job listings in a battered newspaper, his phone buzzed. The number was unfamiliar. "Hello?" he answered cautiously. "Good evening. Is this Liam?" a polite professional voice asked. "Yes, who's calling?" "This is David Collins, Mr. Arthur Green's personal assistant. Mr. Green asked me to reach out and invite you to his office. He'd like to thank you personally for what you did last week." Liam froze, the name catching him off guard. "Mr. Green, the man I helped?" "Yes, sir. He'd like to express his gratitude in person." "Can you come to Green Tech's headquarters tomorrow morning?" Liam blinked in disbelief. Green Tech, the company he'd dreamed of working for, even in the lowest position, was now summoning him, not for a job interview, but because its chairman wanted to meet him. I think I can make it," Liam stammered. "Excellent. I'll text you the details." "Thank you, Liam," David said before hanging up. The following morning, Liam stood in front of the gleaming skyscraper that housed Green Tech's headquarters. The building towered above him, its glass exterior reflecting the bustling streets of downtown. Clutching the card Arthur had dropped that day, Liam took a deep breath and stepped inside. The lobby was a world of polished marble, sleek furniture, and impeccably dressed professionals moving with purpose. Liam felt out of place in his second-hand shirt and scuffed shoes, but he squared his shoulders and approached the receptionist. "I'm here to see Mr. Arthur Green," he said, trying to sound confident. The receptionist, a polished woman in a tailored suit, gave him a brief glance before nodding. "You must be Liam. Mr. Green is expecting you. Take the elevator to the 38th floor." The elevator ride felt like an eternity. When the doors opened, Liam was greeted by a man in a tailored suit, David Collins. "Liam, welcome. Please, follow me," David said with a warm smile. They walked through an expansive office space with floor-to-ceiling windows that offered a breathtaking view of the city. Liam tried to absorb his surroundings, but his nerves made it difficult. David led him to a large office at the end of the hall. Inside, Arthur Green sat behind a massive oak desk, his silver hair gleaming under the soft light. He looked healthier than the last time Liam had seen him, though a cane rested nearby. "Liam," Arthur said, rising to his feet with a kind smile, "it's good to see you again." "Mr. Green," Liam replied, his voice shaky, "I'm glad to see you're doing better." Arthur gestured to a chair. "Please, sit." Liam obeyed, feeling the weight of the moment. "I owe you my life," Arthur began. "If you hadn't stopped that day, I might not be here now. You acted selflessly, and for that, I am deeply grateful." Liam shrugged, his cheeks reddening. "I just did what anyone would do." Arthur chuckled. "Don't be so modest. In this city, not everyone would stop to help a stranger. Your actions speak to your character." As they talked, Arthur asked Liam about his life. Hesitant at first, Liam eventually opened up about his family, his struggles, and his dreams. "I've always admired Green Tech," Liam admitted. "It's a company that stands for innovation and integrity. I've always wanted to work here. But someone like me doesn't really stand a chance." Arthur leaned forward, his gaze intense. "And why is that?" "Well, I don't have a fancy degree or the right connections," Liam said. "People like me don't usually get opportunities like this." Arthur was silent for a moment, then said, "Liam, you remind me of someone I used to know, myself. I grew up with nothing and built my life from the ground up. I see the same determination in you." Liam stared at him, stunned. "You grew up poor?" Arthur nodded. "And I'm telling you, your background doesn't define your potential." Arthur leaned back in his chair, a thoughtful expression on his face. Here's what I propose. I'd like to offer you a position as an intern at GreenTech. You'll learn, grow, and prove to yourself what you're capable of. Liam's heart raced. An opportunity like this was beyond anything he'd imagined, but just as quickly, doubts crept in. "Mr. Green," Liam said hesitantly, "I'm grateful, but I don't think I'm ready. I don't want to let you down." Arthur's expression softened. "Liam, I'm not offering this because I expect perfection. I'm offering it because I believe in you. The question is, do you believe in yourself?" Liam looked at the older man, the sincerity in his eyes undeniable. Slowly, he nodded. "Okay," he said, his voice steady. "I'll do it." Arthur smiled, extending his hand. "Welcome to GreenTech, Liam. Let's see what you're made of." As Liam left the office that day, a sense of hope filled him. For the first time in a long time, he felt like his future might hold something extraordinary. Liam stepped into the towering GreenTech building on his first day as an intern, his nerves running high. The polished floors gleamed under the bright lights, and the buzz of purposeful activity made him feel both inspired and intimidated. He adjusted the tie Arthur had gifted him, a gesture meant to bolster his confidence, and took a deep breath before entering the elevator. The 38th floor was as bustling as the lobby had been. Rows of desks were occupied by impeccably dressed employees, typing furiously on their laptops or discussing projects in hushed tones. Liam felt the weight of dozens of eyes on him as he walked through the workspace, led by David, Arthur's trusted assistant. "This is where you'll be working," David said, gesturing to a small desk near the corner. "Your primary role will be assisting the marketing team with research and presentations. If you need anything, just ask." "Thank you," Liam replied, his voice steady despite the knot in his stomach. Liam's first week was a whirlwind of activity. He spent hours poring over reports, learning new software, and trying to keep up with the fast-pacing environment. Yet, it was impossible to ignore the whispers and side glances from his coworkers. "Who is this kid?" one whispered loudly enough for Liam to hear. "Arthur's little pet project," another replied, smirking. The comments stung, but Liam tried to stay focused. He was determined to prove that he belonged at GreenTech, not because of Arthur's favor, but because of his own hard work. Arthur kept a close eye on Liam's progress, often calling him into his office for one-on-one conversations. "How's it going, Liam?" Arthur asked one afternoon, gesturing for the young man to sit in a plush leather chair. "It's a lot," Liam admitted. "I feel like I'm barely keeping up, and the others don't think I belong here." Arthur leaned back, his expression thoughtful. "Liam, let me tell you something. When I started this company, I didn't have the right degree or connections. All I had was determination and a willingness to learn. And that's all I see in you." Liam nodded, Arthur's words sinking in. "Success isn't about being the smartest person in the room," Arthur continued. "It's about resilience. When you get knocked down, you get back up. Every time." While Liam was finding his footing, not everyone at GreenTech was supportive. Among the most vocal detractors was Victor Lang, the company's ambitious vice president. Victor had been gunning for Arthur's approval for years and saw Liam's presence as a threat. "He's just a kid," Victor sneered during a meeting with a group of senior executives. "Arthur's wasting resources on him." "But the chairman seems invested in him," another executive pointed out. Victor's eyes narrowed. "Then let's see if the boy can actually handle the pressure." Victor orchestrated a situation to test Liam's abilities and set him up for failure. Liam was assigned a key task in preparing a marketing proposal for a new product launch, a project that was critical to GreenTech's quarterly goals. Excited for the opportunity, Liam threw himself into the work, spending late nights in the office and poring over data. Unbeknownst to him, Victor subtly provided him with outdated information, ensuring that the final presentation would be riddled with errors. The day of the presentation arrived, and Liam stood before a room of executives, his hands slightly trembling as he began his pitch. Arthur watched from the back of the room, his expression calm but attentive. At first, the presentation seemed to go smoothly, but as Liam moved to the financial projections, murmurs spread through the room. "This data is inaccurate," one executive said sharply. "These figures are from last quarter," another added, her tone incredulous. Liam froze, his face burning with embarrassment. He stammered an apology, fumbling to explain himself, but the damage was done. After the meeting, Liam retreated to his desk, his head in his hands. He felt the weight of failure pressing down on him. Arthur found Liam later that day, sitting alone in the break room. "Rough day," Arthur said, sitting across from him. Liam nodded, unable to meet his mentor's eyes. "I messed up. I let you down." Arthur placed a hand on Liam's shoulder. "Liam, do you know how many times I've failed in my career? More than I can count, but every failure taught me something, and it made me stronger." Liam looked up, his eyes filled with doubt. "But this was so important. What if I'm not cut out for this?" Arthur's voice was firm but kind. "You saved my life, Liam. Now let me teach you how to pick yourself up after a fall. The only real failure is giving up." Arthur's encouragement reignited a spark in Liam. He reviewed the feedback from the presentation, identifying what went wrong and learning from the mistakes. Though it was clear Victor had set him up, Liam chose not to dwell on the betrayal. Instead, he focused on improving. He sought advice from experienced colleagues, read extensively about the company's operations, and worked harder than ever before. Over the next few weeks, Liam began to regain his confidence. His co-workers noticed his resilience and determination, and some even began to respect him for his efforts. Victor, however, watched from the sidelines, his frustration growing as Liam refused to crumble under pressure. One evening, as Liam was leaving the office, Arthur called out to him. "Walk with me," Arthur said, leading Liam to the rooftop terrace. The city lights sparkled below, a reminder of the world they were working to impact. "Liam, I see a lot of myself in you," Arthur said. "You've faced challenges most people would run from, and you've handled them with integrity." Liam looked out at the city, his chest swelling with pride. "Remember," Arthur continued, "success isn't about never failing. It's about learning, adapting, and growing. And I have no doubt you'll do all three." Whoa. Susan looked from Arthur's absolutely cut-together, pale, failing relative to Red Parker's respectful intimidation. He thought of Ashley's mother, Barbara, for some reason. Whatever was inside his body thought of Margaret again. As they stood together on the terrace, Liam felt a renewed sense of purpose. For the first time, he truly believed that he could make a difference, not just for himself, but for others like him who dreamed of something more. The atmosphere in the Green Tech boardroom was electric as the international investors began to arrive, their tailored suits and polished confidence filling the space with a sense of importance. This was the moment Green Tech had been preparing for, presenting a groundbreaking renewable energy project that could secure the company's dominance in the global market. Arthur Green stood at the head of the room, his calm demeanor masking the high stakes of the day. Beside him, Liam was nervously reviewing his notes. Arthur had entrusted him with presenting the marketing strategy for the project, a critical piece of the pitch. "You'll do great," Arthur said quietly, placing a reassuring hand on Liam's shoulder. "Thanks," Liam replied, trying to steady his breathing. Unbeknownst to Liam, Victor Lang had been working behind the scenes to undermine him. Still bitter about Arthur's favoritism toward the young intern, Victor saw this as his chance to humiliate Liam and regain his standing. The night before the presentation, Victor secretly swapped out the final data in Liam's marketing deck with outdated and inaccurate figures. He was confident that the error would derail Liam's portion of the pitch and tarnish his credibility. As the meeting began, Liam waited for his turn to speak, listening intently as other team members outlined the technical and financial aspects of the project. When it was finally his time to present, he stood and connected his laptop to the projector. The first few slides went smoothly, and Liam began to relax. But as he reached the critical section detailing market analysis and projections, he noticed something was wrong. The data didn't align with the figures he had meticulously prepared. His stomach dropped as he realized the numbers on the slides were outdated. For a split second, panic threatened to overwhelm him. The investors began to exchange confused glances, whispering to one another. Liam faced a choice. He could either stop the presentation and risk looking unprepared, or think on his feet and salvage the situation. Arthur, noticing Liam's hesitation, gave him an almost imperceptible nod from across the room, a silent vote of confidence. Taking a deep breath, Liam addressed the room. "I apologize for the discrepancy on this slide," he began, his voice steady despite his racing heart. "These figures don't reflect the most recent data, but I can assure you that the projections for this project are stronger than ever. Allow me to explain why." With the room's attention fixed on him, Liam improvised, drawing on everything he had learned during his time at GreenTech. He spoke passionately about the project's potential, using real-world examples and insights he had gained from working alongside Arthur. Rather than relying on the flawed slides, Liam sketched out a clear and compelling vision for the marketing strategy, emphasizing how the project would revolutionize the renewable energy market. The investors, initially skeptical, leaned forward in their seats, captivated by Liam's confidence and creativity. "I'll admit, I was concerned when the numbers didn't match up," she said. "But Liam's ability to adapt and present a clear vision under pressure speaks volumes about the talent at GreenTech. I'm impressed." Arthur smiled, pride evident on his face. Victor, meanwhile, shifted uncomfortably in his seat, his plan having backfired spectacularly. After the meeting, Arthur pulled Liam aside. "You handled that brilliantly," Arthur said. "I'm proud of you." "Thank you," Liam replied, still processing what had just happened. "I thought I'd blown it when I saw the wrong data." Arthur nodded. "It's not about never making mistakes. It's about how you recover. And today, you've proved that you're capable of handling whatever comes your way." The investors agreed to fully back GreenTech's project, citing the team's innovation and adaptability as key factors in their decision. Liam's contribution, in particular, was highlighted as a turning point in the presentation. That evening, as the team celebrated their success, Arthur raised a glass in a private toast with Liam. "You've come a long way, Liam," Arthur said. "This is just the beginning." For Liam, the experience wasn't just a professional milestone, it was a personal triumph. He had faced adversity and risen above it, proving to himself and everyone else that he belonged at GreenTech. As he walked home that night, the city lights seemed a little brighter, and his dreams felt closer than ever before. After the investors had left, the GreenTech boardroom was filled with a celebratory energy. The team congratulated one another on the successful pitch, but Liam hung back, still absorbing the gravity of what had just happened. He had faced a room full of international investors, navigated a crisis, and come out on top. Arthur approached him, his usual composed demeanor softened by a warm smile. "Walk with me, Liam," Arthur said. The two made their way through the building, their footsteps echoing in the quiet halls. Arthur led Liam to his private office, a space filled with mementos of GreenTech's history, framed awards, photographs of groundbreaking projects, and a small, weathered photo of a young boy standing in front of a modest home. Arthur gestured for Liam to sit. "I think it's time I told you why I believed in you from the moment we met," Arthur began, his voice thoughtful. "When you found me that day, lying on the street, I wasn't just a man in need of help. I was a reflection of who I once was." Liam's brow furrowed. "What do you mean?" Arthur leaned back in his chair, his gaze distant. "I wasn't born into wealth, Liam. I grew up in a small, run-down house on the outskirts of a factory town. My father worked himself to the bone just to keep food on the table, and my mother cleaned houses to make ends meet. Life was hard, but it taught me resilience." Liam listened intently as Arthur continued. "When I saw you, young, determined, and willing to help a stranger, without expecting anything in return, I saw myself. That's why I invited you into Green Tech. Not as charity, but because I knew you had the same fire I once had." Arthur stood and walked to the window, looking out over the city. "You've proven yourself in ways I could never have imagined, Liam, and I believe you're destined for more." Turning back to face Liam, Arthur's expression grew serious. "I want you to be my personal assistant. This isn't just a job, it's a mentorship. I want to prepare you to one day take the reins of Green Tech." Liam's eyes widened in shock. "Me? But I'm just an intern. I don't know the first thing about running a company." Arthur smiled. "Neither did I when I started, but with the right guidance, you'll learn. And I can't think of anyone better suited for the job." The weight of Arthur's words settled over Liam. For a moment, he was speechless. Then, slowly, he nodded. "I won't let you down," he said, his voice filled with determination. In the weeks that followed, Liam's life transformed. Under Arthur's mentorship, he learned not only the intricacies of the corporate world, but also the importance of leading with integrity and compassion. Liam realized that the opportunity Arthur had given him wasn't just a stroke of luck. It was the result of his own kindness and determination. "Liam," Arthur said during one of their many conversations, "success isn't measured by wealth or accolades. It's measured by the lives you touch and the legacy you leave behind." Arthur, too, found a renewed sense of purpose. Helping Liam reminded him of the values that had driven him to build Green Tech in the first place. He felt a deep satisfaction in knowing that his journey had come full circle, passing on what he had learned to someone who would carry it forward. One evening, Arthur and Liam stood on the rooftop terrace of the Green Tech building, the city sprawling out beneath them. The skyline shimmered with lights, a testament to the endless possibilities of the future. "This view," Arthur said, "reminds me of why we do what we do. It's not just about building a business, it's about building a better world." Liam nodded, his heart full. "I understand that now, and I want to do more, help people like me who think they'll never get a chance to prove themselves." Arthur placed a hand on Liam's shoulder. "Then that's exactly what we'll do." As they stood together, the older man and the young dreamer, a sense of calm and purpose filled the air. Liam, no longer the timid boy who had stumbled into Green Tech, was now a confident young man with a vision for the future. "I'll make you proud," Liam said, softly. "You already have," Arthur replied. The camera pans out, showing the two figures silhouetted against the glowing city, a symbol of hope, mentorship, and the power of second chances. Together they would not only shape the future of Green Tech, but also inspire countless others to believe in the extraordinary possibilities of kindness and perseverance. Thank you for watching this inspiring story of kindness, resilience, and transformation. Liam and Arthur's journey reminds us that a simple act of compassion can change lives in the most unexpected ways. It's a powerful reminder to believe in second chances and to never underestimate the value of helping others. If this story touched your heart, don't forget to hit the like button, share it with your friends, and leave a comment below about your favorite part of Liam and Arthur's journey. And if you haven't already, subscribe to our channel for more heartwarming stories that inspire, uplift, and remind us of the beauty of human connections. Until next time, thank you for watching. And remember, kindness always comes full circle.